There are times when we just need a dinner that's gonna come together quickly and be so good for the family. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, I am Amber, and this week we are doing dinners that can be made in under 30 minutes. Some of these are actually made in about 20 minutes, which is fantastic. These are gonna be ready quickly and they're gonna fill your family for the evening. Tonight for dinner, we are going to have a creamy Parmesan basil shrimp. This is a really easy recipe that comes together really quickly. I wanna tell you, before I started doing anything else, I get my water boiling so that when the noodles are ready to drop, the water is already ready to go. And I've already portioned out pretty much everything that we need. We've got roughly 1.5 pounds of shrimp here. I've got 3 tablespoons of butter, 4 garlic cloves that are minced, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, right around 1.5 cups of heavy cream, 1 cup-ish packed of basil leaves. You can add more or less. If you don't like fresh basil, you could use just the dried basil, or you could substitute and do spinach. We've got about 1 cup of fresh grated Parmesan, 1/2 cup here of white wine, and then I do have some crushed red pepper flakes. You could leave these out if you're sensitive to spice, only 1/4 teaspoon. The last thing that I need to do is slice up these roasted red peppers. You're just gonna cut them into slices, about 3 to 4 ounces of roasted red pepper. Now, since I've got pretty much everything already portioned out, the rest of the meal is gonna happen over here on the stovetops. Okay, let's get our stove turned on about medium heat. And we're gonna go ahead and put about 2 tablespoons of butter here in this pan. We have 3 total reserved. I'm gonna toss in the shrimp. For the shrimp, all we're gonna do is season with a little bit of salt. You can also add pepper if that is your preference. Now, normally I would probably cook this in batches so that I don't overcrowd the pan, but this is a 20-minute meal, so we're gonna do this as quickly as possible. So you really just need to cook each side for about 2 minutes until they turn pink. Okay, we're gonna transfer these to a plate and just set them to the side for just a minute. Add the rest of our butter, and this is where you would also add the onion if you're using onion. We're adding the garlic, paprika, the chili flakes or red pepper flakes, and we're adding the peppers that we cut. And we're just gonna saute this for just a couple of minutes. All right, my water is boiling, so I'm gonna go ahead and add our pasta. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want. We just happen to have quite a bit of just regular, I think this is angel hair pasta, it might be spaghetti. Either one. We're gonna add this to the pasta water. All right, while I was getting the pasta in, these cooked up really nicely. We've got lots of fragrance, so I'm gonna deglaze with the white wine, which honestly with these new pans that I have, deglazing is a little different because nothing sticks to them, so there's nothing to scrape up. Now we're just gonna let this simmer until the wine that we put in is reduced by half. All right, we're about reduced by half, and I'm turning my heat down to a medium low. So we're adding in 1.5 cups of heavy cream. We're just gonna stir this together until a nice sauce forms. It's actually happening really quickly. Okay, so normally you would salt and pepper at this point. However, the Parmesan that we have is very salty right now. So I'm gonna add in the Parmesan before I end up adding any more salt or pepper. Cup of shredded Parmesan. Again, we're gonna stir all of this together and just let that Parmesan melt. We're gonna add in our basil, and we're just gonna let this wilt. And now we can add back in the shrimp, and that's just gonna cook for just a couple of minutes and it will be ready to go. Here is tonight's dinner. We've got the Parmesan basil shrimp over pasta. Tonight for dinner, we are making chicken lettuce wraps. This is something that we absolutely love in our household. If you're not a fan of the lettuce wrap portion, I'm gonna suggest that you still try these out. Serve it as a bowl. Serve it over rice or cauliflower rice or something like that. The first thing that we're gonna do is take some mushroom, and we're gonna cut up about 1 cup of mushroom. This actually might be a little more than we need, so we'll see if we end up using all of it. We're also gonna cut up a red pepper. This is ground chicken. We're going to brown it up in this pan. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of olive oil at the bottom of the pan. This ground chicken is very lean. I'm gonna add a tablespoon of minced garlic, roughly a tablespoon or so, and we're gonna cook that in with that ground chicken. My chicken is cooked, so I'm just going to set it to the side. How about not over an open flame though? But we need to saute our vegetables. So I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to my pan here and toss in the red pepper and the mushroom that we cut up. The recipe actually suggests that you garnish with carrot, but I prefer that they are sauteed a bit. So I have some shredded carrots that we've already shredded up. We're just gonna add those and let those saute as well. I'm gonna add in this red Thai curry paste. You can use chili paste if that's what you prefer. We're gonna add in 1 tablespoon. I am using coconut aminos, but you can use soy sauce if that's what you prefer. 3 tablespoons of that. We are also going to add 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Let's mix this together and then add back in the chicken. All right guys, here is dinner. We've got lettuce wraps. I just basically washed the lettuce and then just dried it off with some paper towels, and then you just put as much of the filling as you want in them and just roll it up when you're ready to eat. Tonight for dinner, we are going to have a honey lime cilantro salmon. This is gonna come together so quickly, and it all just goes in the oven, so you don't have to worry about it once it's in there. I kind of made a little bit of an error on this one. I looked in the freezer outside and I saw that we had salmon. And then when I went to go pull it for this meal, I realized we only had 2 salmon fillets, small salmon fillets. So we are going to have 2 salmon fillets and 2 cod fillets so that we have enough for everybody. Same theme, but 2 of them are gonna be cod. I'm slicing up 1 lime and I'm slicing it pretty thin. This is gonna lay underneath our fish. I have a baking sheet here that I've laid some foil in, and I kind of made a boat with the foil. I'm gonna take the lime and just lay it at the bottom because the fish is gonna go on top of it. We have the 2 salmon fillets and the 2 cod fillets here. I'm gonna go ahead and just lay them in. The salmon is skin on, so we want the skin to be down. I did also pat them dry. I'm gonna go ahead and season with salt and pepper. Let's make up our sauce that's gonna go all over the top of our fish. In this bowl, I have about 3 tablespoons of melted butter, and I'm gonna squeeze in about 1.5 limes. Add about 3 tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey. And we also need to add about a tablespoon of minced garlic. When I went into the pantry to get the honey, I realized we had some sweet potato that needs to be used. All I did was cut it up into cubes. I'm gonna add some olive oil to this and salt and pepper and maybe a little bit of garlic powder, and that's really it. Very, very simple. Added some foil underneath the fish. Now I can just take the potatoes, the sweet potatoes, and just put them right around the edges. We're gonna take that butter sauce that we made, that butter, lime, cilantro sauce that we made, and just put it over all the fish here. My oven is preheated to 375 degrees. This is going in for 15 to 20 minutes. Then right at the very end, we're going to broil so that we get a nice crispy skin on the fish. All right, friends, here is our honey lime cilantro. Actually, there is no cilantro. I forgot to put cilantro in there. So our honey lime salmon, the crispy Brussels, and the sweet potato. We're gonna add a touch of dried cilantro to this. I have a comment about dinner tonight. I would make this over again, but let me just tell you, pan sear it. Just pan sear it. It's just as easy. I know it's convenient to be able to walk away and just leave it in the oven, but every single time we make salmon in the oven, we leave dinner saying we should have just pan-seared it because it's so good. So same recipe, I would just do it that way. Our verse this week comes from Isaiah 40. And the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all people will see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed. I would also love if you would subscribe and stick around. You can hit that subscribe button right below and hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video. I hope that you are having a great week. Bye.